Hey my art heathens, J4D3 here, and we're drawing a custom book cover for Jane Blai's book that's coming out. It's my wife's name that she writes under, and her new book coming out is called Heritage of Fire, so I thought I'd do something nice for her and draw a bookmark book cover. That's what I said earlier. It's a bookmark. And then we can put her contact information on the back of it, so she can hand it out to all her friends or people who are interested in the book when it comes up, you know, in like a regular conversation. So she told me she really likes Alphonse Mucha, which I do too, and so I did the bookmark in a Art Nouveau style. I thought I'd show you guys me drawing this from the pencil sketch stage all the way through, so I know this is going to be kind of a long video. It's like 10 minutes. It took me about 3.5 hours to draw this from beginning to end. Anyways, Jane likes the Art Nouveau style, so that's what I was doing for her. And this was a surprise. She didn't know I was doing this. And the reason I decided to make this little present for her is because her book went from the last set of edits, finally got done 2 days ago. And it's off in the hands of the publisher now. I believe the name of the publisher that's publishing this one is called Soulmates. And it'll be out in e-reader format in October, I believe. And then I think December it'll be out in paperback. That's the way this publisher works, is they do the releases first digitally, and then they release the hard copies. But it's not like if it's successful as a digital book, then we'll release the hard copy. It's already signed up in the contract that they're going to release the paperback also. In fact, they signed her up for 3 books, so that'll finish off this series. The Heritage of Fire is the first one, and I don't know the name of the other 2. I think the last one's called Harridan, but I could be mistaken. I mean, I know the whole story, but I don't know it divided up by the different volumes. Because when Jane wrote this, she wrote it all down as one story, and then has to go through and chop it up into 3 volumes. Man, she started this a long time ago too. I think this idea first started for her book like 20 years ago. Yeah, that's about right. About 20 years ago, because I remember she's writing on it when we had our apartment, and we've been living in our house for 17 years now. So it's been a while that she's been working on this story. Yeah, so anyways, that's that. Some people were asking, like, well, why does she work on the story so long? That's kind of interesting. She really got her act together to start seriously thinking about publishing her book when she joined the Romance Writers Guild of America. I think it's what it's called, a Romance Writers Club. I think it's Guild. And they meet every month, and they go over where they're at on their books. And that's how she met her editor. That's how she met the acquiring editor for these companies. In fact, the acquiring editor left the company she's publishing with, and the company she's publishing with still wants the book, so that's kind of exciting. And then they have people come in and do special talks, like they had an FBI agent come in and talk about stuff, a Seattle homicide agent come and talk about things, so people who are doing like mystery books can, or detective novels can get some insight. They had a lab tech come in and talk about that, about what it's like being a lab tech for the police, and that was pretty funny. Because she was talking about how TV shows, they always like drop off the blood sample, and the next day they're like, oh yeah, we got the DNA, let's go get the bad guy. And she's like, it takes weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to run those kinds of samples. It's never anything that happens really fast. And then they have, so that's kind of cool, I like that part. But they also have like guest authors come in. And then she's been invited to, for free, to go to master classes because her book was so far along and so well done that the guild paid for her classes. And these aren't cheap. They're like, I don't know, like $50 to $80 a pop or something like that. And they're like an hour and a half away. We got to drive down to Seattle to go to them. And luckily she's got a buddy here that is part of the guild, and they go together. So they don't have to take my Jeep. They take this lady's van. And that's pretty cool. The same lady also and my wife started a writer's critique club now. So she went from kind of like first, second gear, doing, maybe I'll be a book writer, I don't know, we'll see, to going, at sixth gear on a racetrack. It's like NASCAR around here now when it comes to her book, which was pretty cool. So the only thing I can say is that if you're thinking about writing prose, you should definitely get a support group and maybe even consider joining one of these guilds if they have a branch in your area, because it's really put her on the fast track to getting her book done and published. All right, enough about my wife. I got kind of rambly there, but it's interesting stuff to me. I have a couple friends who are writers, and they're pretty good, and they finished their books, but they've only finished one, and they self-published. So I think that was kind of discouraging for them. They didn't, they're not going after the second book yet, which I hope they do, because both of them are very good writers. And one was writing a werewolf cop story drama, which was pretty cool. And I need to find out what happens, so he needs to get that one done, Pike. And the other one is a administrative assistant where I work at the big factory, and she wrote a young adult novel, and it's pretty badass, pretty well done. Hopefully she won't stop. Although she's got a bunch of different hobbies. She's also she's got 2 kids, 2 cute little girls. And she's also a roller derby combatant, or whatever you call them. She does roller derby. And that's pretty sick. So she's a busy lady. Anyways, I drew this. Okay, finally back to the art for the last minute. I drew this with alcohol-based markers, mostly Copics, but I use some Spectrum Noirs also. I mix my alcohol markers together all the time, which if any of you marker companies want to sponsor me, I will use your markers exclusively, but no one wants to do that yet. I guess because I only have 200 subscribers. I guess if I had 10,000, that would be a different story. And yeah, anyways, I'll let you guys know if Jane likes her bookmark. I'm going to scan it in and shrink them down and put all her information on there on the computer digitally. All right, my heathens, we're done. You guys have a good one. J4D3, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching and be good to each other. Peace.